Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parley.
Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parley. I am your host, Mike Jokum. Joining me this afternoon is Sabre Cook. Sabre, first off, how are you? And thank you for joining me.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good. So let's start with a fun question here before we dive into some racing. We've been under quarantine now for, 11 weeks. Have you come up with any new quarantine hobbies that are funny or entertaining, or housework, or anything that you've done to keep busy that isn't racing related?
That's a new hobby?
Or improved on a hobby?
I guess, I've been reading, but I guess that's not unusual, just doing more of it.
Yeah.
I did register for the master class that you can do online.
Yeah.
So listened to several of those, thought that was pretty good. I did a lot of research on like different types of training programs. So like trying to switch things up and really understand like the science of exercise. And I ordered Blaze Pods, which I'm pretty excited about. I haven't used them yet. They like literally just got here. So I'm excited to try those.
What is that?
That is, they're like little circular lights, and they come with several mounts. And you can like place them anywhere or on surfaces or use them in the gym, and they like change colors, and they're also like they're basically for reaction training and like cognitive function training. So
I love it. That sounds
pretty excited to do that. And then I just got this, like W Series kitted us out, and I got this a couple days ago. So I am like frantically trying to get lots of time on it before our race. So doing that. And then I've been coaching a lot, working a lot, we have rental carts out at the track that's here in Junction, and spent a very long time fixing all those. So just kind of like odds and ends, staying busy, regular training, and spending time with family and petting my dog, and
Yeah.
How about you?
All of that sounds great. I have gotten very good at making my brown grass green outside. That is good. Pretty proud, because I'm terrible at killing plants and everything like that. So it's, a lot of YouTube videos, and we did finish Tiger King in about a day and a half. I think like the first week of quarantine. If you haven't seen it, you're not really missing all that much, but it is.
Yeah, I watched like the first part of the first episode, and I just didn't follow through.
Yeah, now I look back on it and I'm like, that was really dumb. But at the same time, it was the first week of quarantine, and you're like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, I hear everyone got so obsessed with it though. Like, I felt like I was missing out, but
the social media really took hold of it, and there's still stuff every day. And I see Carol Baskin questions pop up in like random people's like social media, like live streams, like drivers do a live stream and they're asking like, did Carol Baskin kill her husband, and all that craziness. And maybe I'll make that a Twitter poll this week and see how many people actually watched Tiger King. So with that being said, obviously you're sitting at the sim rig that you just talked about right now. So what's the iRacing or whatever program you're using training been like so far for the W Series entry, which I think it's this weekend or next weekend?
The first race will air next week at Monza. We're using iRacing, kitted out with all the Logitech G920 steering wheel pedals, and got like this really cool PC. I'm pretty stoked on it.
Yeah.
And it's we've just been kind of doing some pre-check runs and stuff like that, but excited to show you guys what we've been doing, and hopefully the racing will be good and entertaining for everyone.
So what have you iRaced previously, or is this a brand new thing to you?
It's pretty brand new. I've had an account like in the past, but I never did any iRacing races. I literally would only use the account if I didn't have access to like a proper or good sim and I needed to learn a new track. That's literally all I ever use it for. So I am very much rookie level. So well, I got my, what is it, like the 2.5 rookie
Yeah.
starting level rating. So I like, got a lot to learn and just trying to figure it all out. So if anybody out there has tips for me, I'm open to them. So.
I will post that as well, and I think we have some pretty big iRacers that listen to the show pretty regularly. So, with that being said, let's continue on with the W Series. You had a couple top tens last year. You're back again this year. So, going into season 2 of the W Series, whichever, and I honestly don't know the schedule off the top of my head right now, but
it hasn't. They have not announced when it's going to restart, and then the dates. So I don't know either.
Makes me feel a little better because I went, that was the one thing I didn't pull up on my computer before we started here. So whenever it starts, what are your expectations to build on what was a pretty solid first year in the W Series? I know it was new to everybody last year, but what do you think can be your what are your goals for season 2?
Well, definitely finishing the points every single race. That's definitely a must. I would ideally like to be able to get into the top 5. I know podiums are going to be insanely hard, especially we've got a lot of new girls coming in, and some of them have a really solid experience and base. So it's going to be tough, just like last year. But I am trying to come into this year more prepared, come into this year with a new perspective, and then also just build off the momentum that I had last year, because I felt like I had a good progression over the season, just made some mistakes, learned, but overall looking forward to just pushing forward and finishing, just improving everything from last year.
I like it. So is there one track that's on the tentative 2020 schedule that you think this is my best chance for, let's say, a top 5?
I'm not sure. Maybe I would say Norris Ring, because that I did well there last year, but I also did really good at Assen. So it's kind of hard. I feel like I won't know until we get there, but I'm planning on hoping to be competitive at all of them, not just one of them. And then also, but like if we end up running at Coda, like we were planning on doing that would be the ideal race to obviously get that top 5 finish, because home track, home race, and I'd really love to make everybody proud on U.S. soil.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So your schedule this year makes me very tired. So you're also scheduled to do some number of races in Indy Pro 2000 with Bennett Racing. So which I don't know if you know what your tentative schedule is now that Indy Pro released their 2020 schedule, but what are your thoughts so far on heading into the Road of Indy side of things this year?
Well, at the beginning of the year, it was looking pretty positive. It looks like I was going to be able to run the 6 races that didn't conflict with W Series. But fortunately, coronavirus had a different plan for everyone. So we're supposed to restart racing next month at Road America, and they've released the revised schedule. I'm hoping to make as many races as possible, but unfortunately, obviously, economically, everyone's been impacted, and which therefore impacted my sponsorship. So that's kind of been delayed, and I'm trying to make the best of it, trying to scrape together, make it still happen. But it is the reality of the situation right now. So hoping to make as the planned races that I wanted to do, Road America, Mid Ohio, Laguna Seca, possibly Portland, and St. Pete, and Indianapolis. So I'm hoping to still make them, but right now I can't guarantee whether that's going to happen or not, sadly.
Yeah, I think we said on our episode the other day, it's one of those years where things are going to change probably every day and every week. And I don't envy the position a lot of drivers and teams are in, having to scramble last minute with so much uncertainty. It's definitely a battle. So with that being said, I'm going to switch gears here slightly. We've got a Pit Lane Parlay Spotify drivers playlist that each driver that's on, we pick one song to add to the list, and we've got some wild additions, songs that I've never heard of and probably still haven't listened to. So we're going to allow you now to add one song to the list here, and I will add it as we talk so I don't forget.
Okay. I feel like I got to like look in my Spotify playlist. And
I would do the same thing. We have, let's see here.
Oh, this is tough.
We have some fun ones called Astrovan by Mount Joy. That was courtesy of Zach Veach. A fun song called Hillbilly Rich by somebody called Tim Montana. And where's my favorite one? Oh, Sunset Lover by a band or person called Petite Biscuit, which is always my favorite, just to say.
Is it supposed to be like a fun playlist or like a pump up playlist, or just
it's whatever you want it to be?
Anything.
And it's whatever you want. Some guys say they listen to it before the race.
Can I go like super 90s old, like kid?
Hell yeah.
Go, can we do Sum 41 Fat Lip?
Oh, that's
loved that when I was a kid.
All right, we are going to add that to the list. Everybody on YouTube can see me adding it live because I did this a couple times last year and I forgot to add them. So we are restarting this now in 2020. So yours is now on the list.
Awesome. I'll check it out.
So you also graduated college with a mechanical engineering program. So not only are you racing, that sounds like an incredibly difficult degree to get. So what led to the passion for mechanical engineering, and does that help you kind of on a race weekend set up the car and you have an idea a little bit more so from a technical perspective than maybe some of the other drivers?
I definitely have like a different level of understanding than the other drivers that maybe don't have a technical degree. But in this day and age, it's very essential for a driver to really understand what is going on. In some ways, it does help me kind of have a different perspective and maybe communicate better with the engineer because I understand where they're coming from. But in some ways, I also think it's kind of a detriment because I tend to, because sometimes I have to make sure I separate the two, right? Like I'm here to drive, not be the engineer. I need to let the engineer do his thing, and not like, because I mean, I love it and I start just thinking, I'm like, what if we do this and what is this and this and this? But I need to just focus on driving. But it definitely gives me, I think, a very good understanding and helps my communication with my engineer.
Awesome. So it sounds like you've got a ton on your plate this year. What else do you have going on in Sabre Cook world that maybe fans don't know about?
Oh, what else do I have going on? I've been coaching a lot on the side. I guess I don't always advertise that a lot, but working with a lot of young kids, especially in the karting stuff, and really, really enjoying that. So, and then I would like to, actually, I can't announce it yet, but I want to start a charity this year. So I will get back to you guys on what that is going to be.
I like it.
It has to do with four-legged friends, though. So
you're a winner in our books already. 2 out of 3 of the other 2 co-hosts all have animals. My dog is. Oh, he's not in the
around there.
No, he generally during the day he is under. He likes to sleep under my bed.
Like he fits all the way underneath it.
Yeah, I mean he's 14 pounds. He's not very big.
He's small. Okay.
But he is generally attached to my hip 24/7, and especially people who've listened to Pit Lane Parlay when it was a couple of years ago when we first started, you used to hear him in the background once in a while. And, Jess's cats you would hear, and every time, sometimes you hear Matt's cat. We left probably a month or 2 ago. Matt's cat was, so let's say it's like back behind my shoulder here. He's got one of those like cat tree things. I don't know what you call them.
Oh,
and
I've never had a cat. So.
Me either. Highly allergic in this. Both my wife and I are highly allergic, so probably not going to have a cat here. And the tree thing started like falling over as we were recording, and trying to stay silent.
Oh, no.
Somebody is talking and there's like a cat tree falling down. It's really difficult, but we succeeded.
I'm sure it made it like for a great blooper though. Like everyone totally loved it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. So yeah, we are big animal supporters here. I think we did a donation drive for one of the charities last year. I forget, but yeah, anybody who's listening, rescue a dog. It's definitely worth it. My dog is a rescue dog. I don't know where he is right now, honestly. I'm like trying to look behind me to find him, but he's definitely not in the room. So I'm surprised now that I'm talking about him that he hasn't come barging through the door, because that's usually what happens. Anyway, we'll move on.
You should have him co-host next time. Just sit next.
I had him on, and I'll have to see if I can get the video. One of the IndyCar media calls yesterday. He was jumping at my leg, and I was like, all right, buddy, just come sit in my lap. And so he was like right here looking at the computer, and I got a few text messages. Is that your dog in your lap right now? I'm like, yeah.
What else would it be like?
I'm like, I don't have a cat. It's not a squirrel. I know he's tiny, but yeah, it's really fun having him around. He's often shows up on the Pit Lane Parley social media as a fake co-host when we're not recording. So
I'm sure he does a good job.
Oh yeah, he's great. Very vocal. So with that being said, I'm looking at your accomplishments here, and you've got a lot of accomplishments in the karting world. So I hear a lot of people talk about shifter karts and kind of the challenges and difficulties with a shifter kart. So what makes a shifter kart maybe more challenging than a regular kart, let's call it? I know that's probably a terrible way of explaining it or asking the question, but and do you still get some karting in during whatever free time you might have?
Yeah, definitely. I still have my shifter kart out here at the track. So whenever I didn't get to drive like very much at all last year because I was not in the States, but I did get to drive at Leconca last year, which was super cool. But so shifter kart, the reason why it's a lot harder on you physically, it has a smaller power to weight ratio. So it's a lot more horsepower compared to like one that's just a single speed kart. And it tends to carry more like G-forces around the corners. And it's just a little more abrasive on the body and definitely gets your heart rate up. So especially on bumpy tracks, that's usually when people feel it the most. So but yeah, it's a great experience, and it's still probably one of my most favorite things to drive.
Yeah, it looks super fun. My karting experience is limited to Sarah Fisher's in Indianapolis when I get into Indy every May.
That's still good though.
It's a lot.
It's a good entry.
I think it's really fun, and I know I'm not going to be winning races when I go there. I just like to have fun with show listeners or co-hosts or whoever's able to join us at the track. Last year I got hit so hard, I think it was like in my rib, that I felt like I was like, maybe I'm too old to be doing this. And I know I'm not actually old. Matt gives me a hard time about that every episode, but it was very physical. It was a lot of fun. The bull ring oval, the banked oval was such a workout.
Oh yeah, I haven't driven that, but I've seen it, and I feel like I'd get dizzy. Definitely get dizzy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I finished 20 laps down to the two other cars I was racing with. Oh yeah, it was bad. But I got to a point, and I was racing with Mackay Stevens, who you may or may not know. He does some coaching and was in the Road to Indy a couple of years ago, and another friend. And I kind of just took the outside line so I could watch them race, because that was a lot more fun watching them battle for a lead, because I knew I didn't stand a chance, and my forearm was so tired after 5 minutes, and I went, when is this race going to be over? So
yeah, I bet it would be different. It would work different muscles for sure.
Yeah, and I don't stay in shape like race car drivers need to, so I tired out much quicker. So wrap it up with one or two more questions here. So I'm going to go non-racing again.
Okay.
If you had to pick, this is a host Jess question. If you had to pick 3 people to invite to a dinner party, whether they're dead or alive, racing or not, who would it be and why?
Oh, this is a hard question. I would probably say Isaac Newton. That would be interesting.
Ooh, okay.
And probably, that's tough. I think, Jesus. So then we know if he's real or not. I think that would be good.
Right.
What else? If you want me to pick a race car driver, I'd probably pick Senna. If you want me to.
That's fair. Most people always pick at least one racing person. I am glad you didn't go the easy route of like, oh, I'd invite my dad or my significant other.
Or Jim Clark. I think that would be cool. That would be good.
I have a clap button on my soundboard here, but I don't remember which one it is. So I'm just going to visually clap. Yeah, great. That's definitely the most diverse 3 answers I think we've heard on this show in 3 years. So hats off to you on that one. And we'll wrap it up with one question here. Out of all of the W Series and Road to Indy drivers you've driven with over the last couple of years, if you could pick one that would be your teammate forever, for every racing series you get to be on. And I literally just came up with this question on the spot. I kind of twisted a question I usually ask. So I'm going to put you on the spot again for the last question of the afternoon.
Wait, do they have to be a current Road to Indy driver or just like any past one?
Any past one.
I would probably pick, I'd probably pick Oliver just because we get along and he has the good experience and I feel like I could learn from that. So. Yeah,
I like that. And he could teach me how to play guitar or teach you how to play guitar.
That would be pretty cool.
I've tried a couple times throughout my life and have failed miserably every time. So I'm going to have to find him this year to learn some guitar lessons. Anyway, that was a great answer. I enjoyed it. So Sabre, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Best of luck in 2020, wherever you're racing, if it's W Series overseas or if it's here in the U.S. And if you're able to get into any road to Indy, we're all looking forward to seeing you out at the track and definitely let us know about that charity whenever it comes to be.
Okay, I will. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all there as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
6 feet apart, though, right? Like,
be safe. Yeah. One of those like long distance high five sort of thing.
Yeah, just an air 5.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it than my bumbling sentence there. So thank you again, and good luck this year.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.